I just got in 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Right. Not too far back, this I didn't get up.
No, well, first process things, letters for first year, he brought them. So that can see.
Yes.
Oh.
Hi, Jerry. Nice to meet
Yeah, this bigger rails in right there.
This council meeting is called to order in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting is May 16, 2022, was included in the list of meetings published in the Courier News and Star Ledger. Notice of this meeting was also placed on the bulletin board of Borough Hall. In addition, a copy of this notice is available to the public. A copy of this statement shall be included in the minutes of this meeting. Mayor Dennis Sullivan.
Here.
Council members. Granville Brady.
Here.
Tom Mitchell.
Here.
Gina Stravic.
Here.
Roger Vroom.
Here.
Fred Weed.
Here.
Randy Pitts.
Here. Please stand, join me in the flag salute and remain standing.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I was saddened to read in Sunday's paper the passing of Mr. Mike Creasy. Mike came to Somerville in 1958 as a teacher at the high school. He'd been an Army veteran. Became principal in 1970. Very instrumental in establishing the Somerville swim program, which still holds records to this day that have not been equaled. He was inducted into the Somerville High School Athletic Hall of Fame in 2006 and spent 34 years in service to our school district and to the youth of this community. So I have to offer a moment of silence for Mr. Michael Creasy. Thank you. Kevin, we have a set of regular minutes for May 2nd?
Yes, we do.
Okay, we have a motion. So moved. Second?
Council members. Granville Brady.
Yes.
Tom Mitchell.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes. And we have a series of departmental reports as notices. Kevin, I see we have 2 bids that will be coming due on the 2nd. One for the reconstruction of Eastern States Parkway and one for the 27-inch interceptor. So hopefully we'll have a result. The calendar falls. Our next meeting is in 3 weeks from today, so we'll hopefully have results from those bids at our next meeting. All right, we have committee reports. I'll start to my far left with Councilman Mitchell.
No report tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Groom.
Sure. So the Flood Advisory Committee met and did a walkthrough of the various sites in the districts that were defined from the ordinances that we've been taking a look at. It was organized by Glenn Denis. Had everybody taking a walk through there to kind of take a look and see what the areas look like and how the committee feels about different ways to approach the sites. Then, based on that walkthrough, there was a meeting that was held last Monday where the topic was discussed. Some thoughts were thrown out there. And we're going to have a meeting on the 23rd, 7 p.m. here in council chambers to discuss where we're headed next and when we will be making any kind of presentation to the council as to how we're going to move forward. But everything so far has been rolling right along. We have a great group of townsfolk that are on the committee and bringing their expertise, and I do appreciate their time, as I'm sure Mr. Pitts as well.
Yes.
So we were happy to have them as part of our group, and the meeting will be on the 23rd, open to the public. So we look forward to presenting and going over what so far has been drawn up. And we'll keep going from there.
Kevin, make sure that's posted on the website if it isn't already. Good. Councilman Gray.
Yes, Your Honor. The Emergency Services Facility Committee presented their plans for the Planning Board last Wednesday. And one suggestion was made that the restrooms were designated men and unisex, and a recommendation from CHA, our engineer and our project overseer for the project, was made that neither restroom be designated by gender. So we're going to keep everything on an even keel at this point. Our other recommendations made by CHA relate to existing conditions and demolition plan, erosion and sediment control, site plan, NJDOT traffic control, vehicle maneuvering plan, and drainage plan, and landscape. So this is a tremendously complicated project, and I think that we're going to see some really nice result at the end. The architectural plan should be 90% complete by July, and construction should begin in September. On June 1st, in the Commissioners' Meeting Room at 20 Grove Street at the county, we will present the Emergency Services Plan to the public, and that is at 7 o'clock. The section of High Street from Vanderveer past Gaston and west toward Grove Street that was torn up by New Jersey American Water is being resurfaced. It's our policy that streets that have been disrupted by utility construction must be repaved curb to curb. Motorists on High Street, however, caution that the speed limit is still 25 miles per hour. It will be enforced, and just because the roadway looks like a race course doesn't mean you have to race on it. And that's my report to the night.
Thank you. Councilwoman Strauss.
The Environmental Commission met last Tuesday. They met at the green scene, the old landfill, walked the property, saw the updates, and then had their meeting. Members have been busy on various tasks. We have three members serving on the ad hoc committee for rezoning of the Cliff Street area. We have members who have replanted the rain gardens at the Exchange Field. The commission has also written grants, and we've received $2,740 in grants to date. And they have a program lined up with Vanderveer school children to plant some tree seedlings that were left over from our Earth Day celebration. And the big news is they're preparing to open the community garden in a few weeks. So they're a busy, hardworking group, and we thank them for their good work.
Thank you. Councilman Lee.
Yes, just because the Somerville Borough budget passed does not mean that budget season has left us yet. It is state budget season. Certainly a policy I think we should be doing every year. We have 3 state legislators, and this year we are asking them to see if we can get some line items in the state budget. And no means is this guaranteed that we'll get it, but hey, you gotta be in it to win it, you gotta ask. And this year, hopefully, we can get some funding for our water rescue vehicles, and hopefully we can get some of the some state money for that. So it's to be determined, but it's worth a shot. That's all
I also read online today that the governor has announced some equipment programs for fire and first responders. It might be an opportunity. Kevin, did that come across your desk yet?
I didn't see it today.
Okay, it's a proposal, but it seems to have some strong backing here in the legislature.
There are more ways than one to skin that.
So we'll keep an eye on that, because turnout gear is important, and it ages quickly, and it needs to be up to standard before it's put on it. We put our first responders in harm's way, so we'll watch that one carefully. And Mr. President, thank you. Here next.
Just a brief announcement. Last Thursday was Girls Night Out downtown. We're putting together all the information, but it seems to be a huge success throughout our borough. And we have our executive director here. who, when we open up the meeting to the public, we can bring more information further. That's it.
Just a few things from myself in terms of what Randy just said. We're going to have a lot of events coming up. Most important one, I think, on Memorial Day itself, the veterans groups have decided not to have the traditional parade this year, but we will have the 11 o'clock memory service at the new cemetery on South Bridge Street. So in the midst of cruisers and bike races and shopping and picnics, invite the public to show up at 11 o'clock on Monday, the 30th, for a brief but important service at New Cemetery. Kevin, make sure that's also on the website. While you're in town enjoying our many events that will be coming up between now and Labor Day, I just urge you all, if you read the Courier News the other day, they came out with their Best of Awards again, and I was very pleased to see that a good number of our merchants were mentioned in the Best of. And they work hard to contribute, to our town. And if you're in town, recreating, having fun, stop in and patronize them, if your means allow. It's, they again are a big part of what we do here, and I would appreciate that. And finally, I'd like to thank President Pitts for standing in for me while I was on a brief vacation. I understand that he set a world record for the shortest council meeting. I don't know whether that was a implied innuendo or something, but we've already exceeded, I think, the meeting from 2 weeks ago. But I'll do my best. But thank you for filling in for me. I rested well knowing that the town was in good hands. So thank you for that. We will have several ordinances for introduction only, followed by one introduction that will require a public hearing prior to adoption. So our first ordinance for introduction only is 0516, amending Chapter 5 Recreation Department, specifically including appropriation and background checks. Can I have a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second. Roll
Yeah.
call.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Bob Mitchell,
Yeah.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
And our second introduction, 2674, amending ordinance 2627-21-0201, establishing a salary range for employee titles to be paid to certain officers and employees of the Borough of Somerville. Motion for introduction.
So moved.
Second.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Bob Mitchell,
Yeah.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Kevin, everything will be in order for those in our first meeting in June?
Yep.
Which I believe is the 7th. It's 3 weeks from today because of the holiday. Okay, but it'll be whatever our next regular meeting is. It's either the 6th or the 7th. I want to say the 6th.
My phone says the 6th.
Okay, so June 6th, 7 o'clock here. Okay, we have one ordinance that's already been introduced, so this is the call for a motion for public hearing on ordinance 2661-22-0118. Motion to open public.
Second.
Roll call.
Sorry.
No.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Bob Mitchell,
Yeah.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Public hearing on this ordinance is open. If you have any questions or comments. Hearing none, motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Bob Mitchell,
Yeah.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Motion for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
The only thing I'd like to say is that the Environmental Commission have looked at this closely, and I know it's re-reviewed, so I think we're in good shape now.
As the plan.
Correct.
All right, roll call.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Bob Mitchell,
Yeah.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
All right. We're at the open public meeting section. I'll take a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
Council members Granville Brady.
Yes.
Tom Mitchell.
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
Public session's open. If you have questions or comments, address them to myself. We'll start on my left. Yes. Name and address for the record.
Hi, Colleen Benezelis, 8 Lord Drive.
Good evening.
I just wanted to say, nobody mentioned Ladies' Night Out.
I did.
Right.
Yeah, and
Well-
then we're gonna have a second part to that as well.
Okay, so I just want to say, it was really great to see so many people out, so many ladies out enjoying the evening, and the town was really hopping, and it was so nice to have it back. So I'm hoping that this will come back every year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Geraldine DeSapio, 46 East Main. I have a letter that I'm going to read to you. It is from the Environmental Commission. In light of the most recent update we received from our members on the Ad Hoc Zoning Committee, we felt it was important that we make a statement today. We aren't here to criticize the work of the Ad Hoc Committee, and it is our hope that these thoughts will enter their considerations. However, as the Environmental Commission, we thought it was important to share our thoughts before a formal proposal has been drafted. The Somerville Environmental Commission has worked to preserve and protect the ecosystem in and around the town of Somerville. We have worked with schools, businesses, and other groups to promote environmental infrastructure such as rain gardens and the planting of many trees throughout the borough. Last year, Ida was a disaster for this town. We saw devastation which most people couldn't have imagined. We saw what the combination of a high water table and the rapid rainfall could do to the residents living along Petersbrook Greenway. Since 1958, the Northeast has seen a 70% increase in precipitation from heavy storms. And due to climate change, we'll expect to see much, much more. We have discussed the progress of the Ad Hoc Zoning Committee in our monthly meetings, and we are concerned about the direction the committee is headed in reference to Zone R7. The Borough be rezoned to accommodate the owner's request of higher density apartment buildings and an increased area of impervious surfaces. This entire area is within the 500-year flood zone and rests directly next to the Petersbrook Greenway. This flood zone was determined from the data taken in 2004, but we all know the area floods much more often than every 500 years. This data is old and needs to be updated to accommodate the effects of climate change. Many large trees are located in this area and help make the area beautiful, and as well as absorb runoff waters from the current apartment footprint. The current apartment complex also reflects the height of residential houses in the area. The current regulations for building in flood-prone zone areas are soon to change when the DEP releases its new flood regulations. These new regulations are expected to drastically change how we build within flood zones and set new regulations on impervious surface coverage. By allowing the developer to rebuild in this area with taller and more dense apartment buildings, we will likely lose the many large trees in the area during and after construction. These trees help to provide shade and retain much of the rainwater the area receives. Even more importantly, the increased impervious surfaces will lead to more water in the basements of the nearby residential houses and add to the flooding of the Petersbrook Greenway. It is our understanding that the committee has had many meaningful conversations about how to approach the rezoning requests from the developer. We understand that accommodations are made in certain circumstances with developers working in good faith with the town of Somerville. However, we believe that this is not one of them. This area is prone to flooding and directly next to the Petersbrook Greenway we enjoy so much. Placing more people and more impervious surfaces in an area that will likely flood in the future is not in the best interest of the town and not the direction we feel this council should take. We must be careful about zoning in such a specific way for zone R7, as this would be considered spot zoning. We feel the council should be developing zoning for the Petersbrook Greenway after the new DEP flood regulations are released. What is the rush? We urge you to take your time and develop an ordinance for the entire town after the new regulations are released, and do so in the best interest of the town and not for the developer. If safety is the biggest concern for zone R7, we urge the council to consider mitigations that would increase the level of safety for those looking to live there in the future. There are many ways we can protect people at Brookside, which have been introduced to the committee. We should urge the developer to adopt such measures if he truly cares about the well-being of the people living in the apartments. The Environmental Commission looks forward to working with the council to adopt new ordinances and green infrastructure after the new DEP flood regulations are released. We are eager to help make the necessary changes and do the hard work to keep Somerville the thriving New Jersey town it has become. Thank you for your attention and your consideration. And this is signed by the Environmental Commission members. If you'd like me to read the names, I will. I don't know if that's necessary. I don't think it is. Thank you very much.
I'll make sure Mr. Sluka has a copy of that, and Kevin, make sure the committee gets that for their next meeting on Monday.
Sure.
Yes.
Hello, Danielle Bowden. I live on 31 Culver Street, right along Petersburg. So I mentioned this the last time we were here. We are pretty much at the tip of the iceberg with the flooding around me. There are, even just in a regular rainstorm, impassable bridges around me. I leave my road, I go to the right, it's flooded. I leave my road, I go to the right and across Cliff Street, it's flooded. I go down to Spring Street to go, towards the Somerville, and again, it's flooded. You go down to Main Street, it's flooded. There have been times I've had to drive to Route 22 just to get to the location past all the flooding, and that would mean by going Borough. So our home is considered in a preferred flood zone, according to our documents. And we have, thus far, had no damage. However, the houses down the road have been underwater with water rescues. My husband will leave as a fireman in town and go rescue people out of those apartments on Cliff Street, leaving our home, as well as, me leaving to go work for the hospital during this whole crisis. And, I think we work with and for the people. We service our town and our community. And this plan, from what I can tell, if you allow an increase in building on this impervious ground, which even as I said, just in a rainstorm floods, you will basically make our home inhabitable pretty soon, unsellable, unlivable. Okay, and I think that lifetime members of the community, we grew up here, we work here, our kids school here, we support our schools, our hospitals, and our emergency forces. And allowing this to happen so that somebody can make additional money is implorable as far as I'm concerned. So that was my first comment, and then my second comment is, I don't know if you have any answers about this, but are they mold testing the buildings on Cliff Street that are currently being gutted, I should say? They were left for a while to sit, and now my concern is the wind blows straight across from their apartments, across the beautiful parkland that's often flooded even in a rainstorm, across to our homes that are all lining up Culver Street. And I want to know, with my windows open, are we getting sick because of this? So does anybody know whether they have had to do mold testing? Have they been able to put that out to the public to let us know what our concerns should be?
I don't have an answer to that. Kevin, has Board of Health been involved in any way?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to check, and, you know, I don't have that material here, to be honest with you.
And is that something that we can ask?
I would have no idea, to be honest with you. All I can do is look at the information that's provided to our building department and be able to provide that from there. I don't know, unfortunately.
Because I think it's fair to the community if they're
Absolutely.
exposed to unhealthy levels, that we should know, and we should be able to, you know.
Yeah, I just wouldn't have that information today. Certainly during the week, you call me anytime, you'll give me an opportunity to prepare that information for you.
I would assume that those tests would be a prerequisite to any new construction permits, I would think, but I don't know.
Have any permits been filed yet?
Again, I don't have access to this material.
And if they're-
It's something that you provide me the information ahead of time, I could bring to the meeting, but I don't have access to the building information
Right, and if they're in limbo, when you say, you know, for new construction, how long is that gonna take? I mean, how long can we be, you know, exposed to these rotting buildings that could potentially make us sick, so.
We'll reach out to the Board of Health and see what their protocol is and try to get you some answers on that.
And the meeting you said on the 23rd is, you said 7, is that here?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have to say, thank you.
Thank you.
there. The ordinance that was being spoken about, I don't have that.
Well, there's no recommendation yet, it's still a dialogue, but we certainly encourage the public to come and give feedback to the committee. Yes, Mr.
John Hadley, 8 Lori Drive. I just wanted to make a comment on the work being done to come up with a redevelopment proposal. First, I want to thank Mayor Sullivan and the council for having tabled the proposal that was presented late last year in order to give time for proper public consideration and input. Second, I want to thank Councilman Broom and the ad hoc committee for their efforts. Having served on a variety of community initiatives in the past, I can attest to how much unrecognized hard work goes on behind the scenes in these committees. Third, I just want to urge the council to make sure that there's a thorough examination of the issues before rushing into any particular proposal. Councilman Brady has raised a legitimate concern about the potential loss of tax revenues during this consideration, but whatever is done here will affect the Somerville community in dramatic ways for decades to come, so that it's important that we get it right. While the recent flooding due to Ida was unprecedented, it was not the community's first experience with major flooding affecting parts of our town in recent years, and unfortunately such events are likely to continue on a regular basis in the future. We need to be taking a long view of what will best prepare Somerville for the future and try not to get sidetracked by shorter term considerations. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Let's go to the other side of the room.
Nobody else? So, I just wanted to.
Name and address, please.
Hadley, 1302 Haley Court, Bridgewater. First and foremost, I just want to, on record, thank our police department for just what an excellent job they did in helping us out during Girls Night Out. It was a large event with many, many moving parts.
And they really did a fantastic job directing traffic, keeping everyone safe, and making sure that there was a visible presence on the streets in downtown Somerville. So I just wanted to, formally give them a shout out and give them my deepest and most sincerest thanks. Along those lines, I'm so glad that someone recognized Girls' Night Out, and because it's great to sit up here and talk about how much we think it was a success, but when a member of the community reiterates that sentiment, it really means a lot to us because we do put a lot of work into putting these events together. With that being said, it was a roaring success. We still sold more tickets for the event than we had since 2019. There was a 2-year hiatus. Our business community has really felt the impact of COVID-19, and so we thought it was very important to bring this event back because it does place such a heavy focus on shopping and dining in the district. I will say that from speaking to a lot of the merchants downtown, they did exceptionally well, and so not only do I have to thank the mayor and council, for approving all of our many requests for the event, I also have to thank the members of the community for coming out and shopping and dining local and continuing to support the businesses that need it so very much. So with that, again, I thank you very much.
Yeah, could I ask you approximately how many tickets you sold in advance and the day of, just so the public can get a sense of the scale of how many folks were here?
Yeah, absolutely. So we sold in advance about 1,100 tickets, and then we had, I would say, about 250 walk-ups to the event. So in total, we had about 1,300, maybe even 1,400 tickets across the board, and that's just in addition to the folks that were just out here shopping and dining on such a beautiful night. So we exceeded our revenues from years past, and so we really appreciate everybody participating, and we hope to bring back some of those really fun activities that people enjoyed so much during the event throughout the course of the summer. So we're talking about bringing back that picnicking on the courthouse lawn, and for those that really enjoyed the pedal cycle, we're hoping to bring them back once a month to pedal downtown. So, so thank you very much.
I have one final question.
Yes.
You presented the concept of the ambassador to be on Main Street when you did your budget back in February.
Yes.
Do you have a timetable for when that person will be starting?
Yes, so our Clean and Safe group, CDS, Commercial District Services, has hired our second Clean and Safe ambassador, and they're in the process of interviewing for the hospitality ambassador, which we hope to be coming on board with us by Memorial Day, if not shortly thereafter.
Okay, I would like to have you bring that person into a council meeting when the schedule will allow it, just so that people can put a face to the name and introduce themselves to the body. I think it's a fantastic idea.
Absolutely, we sure will. Thank you,
Now,
Mayor.
we need to talk about a guy's night.
I'm open to it. I mean, there are plenty of things for our gentlemen to do downtown, so I'd be more than happy to arrange that as well. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council President.
Keep up the good work. Okay, motion to close.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell, Gina Stravic, Roger Vroom, Fred Weed,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes.
All right, we're at the consent resolution part of our agenda. Any resolution council would like pulled for individual discussion?
Move 52, please.
Sure. All right. 148, adopting a job description for a seasonal lifeguard. 149, adopting a job description for pool supervisor. 150, approving the Z-Car Club to utilize parking spaces in front of the historic courthouse on June 10th from 5 till 9 for cruise night display. 151, authorizing the award of a non-fair and open contract to T&M Associates for professional services for engineering, design, and contract administration and inspection services for the 2022 road improvement program. 153, approving the tour of Somerville from vendors area on May 30th, 2022 from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. on East Main Street between Bridge and Grove to host some live music and vendors for Memorial Day races. 154, approving the grant application and acceptance of grant funding for youth leadership from the Department of Human Services Division on Mental Health and Additional Services PNHAS. Motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes. Okay, 152, approving Somerset County Library System of New Jersey to use the sidewalk around the firefighters monument at Borough Hall on June 22nd, 2022 for a Chalk on the Walk program. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Tom, you got a question?
Yeah, two things. First, a quick question. I assume this Chalk on the Walk program, this is going to be children drawing on the pavement? Yeah, okay. My concern of the second whereas says that the event will occur from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., but the resolution authorizes 10:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Yes, there's a discrepancy on the times. I assume it's a half an hour before and a half an hour later. Right?
Yeah, we could just reflect it to read from 10 to 11:30. It's
Cover your bases.
Yeah, I mean, they're asking permission, which is nice to start off with.
Yeah,
But just make sure it's a half hour before and a half hour after, so that there's plenty of time.
and we'll make that 10 a.m. to 11:30.
Yep.
Okay?
Okay.
Roll call.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes. Bills and vouchers, and looking over the agenda, Dr. Brady and Mr. Weed, I see we have a record, almost a record amount tonight. It must be the quarterly cycle of open space, county taxes, school taxes, and RSO.
Must be.
Mr. Weed, I'll let you read the large number, which is unusual because of the cycle.
And my two Maseratis and
See, I'm gone for 2 weeks and what happens, right?
no, it is, as the mayor said, it is that time of quarterly season. With that, I move the payment of bills and vouchers of $8,231,854.39.
I second that.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yeah.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed,
Yes.
Randy Pitts.
Yes. Before I close for adjournment, I felt I had to just say a few words about the events we all watched on TV this past weekend coming out of Buffalo and other cities and towns throughout the country. Summer's coming, lots of activities, kids will be out and about, families will be vacationing, and especially for parents, I think it's just important. It's probably the teacher in me, maybe the grandparent in me. I think it's just important for you to talk to your kids. They watch the TV. You don't know what they're getting from it, what they're internalizing from it. We all know the power of media. I grew up with Roadrunner, but I knew that it was a cartoon, and the coyote would live to chase another day. There's just a lot. It's a lot that kids see now, and every family has to decide for themselves, how to approach and deal with the issues at hand. If you need resources, our school system has a tremendous cadre of counselors, teachers, advisors. The police department is second to none in terms of their community policing and our youth officers. The county has many programs, Richard Hall, Medical Center. There is help out there if you don't feel comfortable or qualified in talking to your kids. I could go on and on, this is not the forum for it, but I just felt that it was important to make note of, something that affects one community, affects us all. And we've got a great gem here. We need to continue to polish it to make it stronger. If Borough Hall, or the county, or the hospital can be of help to you in any way, please, reach out to us. People don't like government until they need it. But there are times when government can fulfill a needed function. I've said enough. Hug your kids, hug your grandkids, and let's just move forward. With that, Mr. Mitchell, move for adjournment.
Movement for adjournment.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
See you in 3 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks. You have to have ceremony.
Yes. Working on my speech as we